Hi there everybody, it's Kirsty here from My Home Truths for a little bit of a late wins of the week this Friday. I was out for a few hours with my mum this morning. She's over this weekend, she's going to look after the puppies. We're heading off for a few days to visit other family. So it was nice to spend a little bit of time with her before we headed off. Hence why at 10 o'clock I wasn't available to do what I normally do and share in our wins of the week. This week has been a bit of a hard week. It's been a tough one in a few ways, but mainly for Gilbert. And, you know, after getting finally sort of releasing some of the tension he's been feeling for quite some time, he ended up going and having, he's had some time with his grandparents just so that we can have a bit of space and that he can have a bit of space as well. And we're going to be reunited tonight, so we'll see him again. We're all going away together. But even though it was a hard week, and even though it's not easy to make the call to go, you need a break, we need to somehow sort of stop this circuit and this cycle of things going wrong sort of in the household. He would say something, we would react, it just escalates. It's been a positive because we now know what he needs and what he's worried about, and a lot of it revolves around high school. And you know, obviously we can do everything we can, and we've done everything we can. We've got in that supported transition, we've had the meetings, we've got all the people on board, but you can't anticipate everything. You can do what you can, but you'll never be able to, you know, to stop everything, and you're going to have to deal with that, and this is what we had to. So in a way, even though the meltdown he had earlier this week wasn't good, and I'd hate to see him that way, and I hate having to comfort him and help him in that way for that reason, in a way it was good because it was sort of like it's relieved a bit of the pressure. So he's been a lot better since, and I think having that one-on-one and special time with his grandparents has also helped him, and giving him a bit of positive reinforcement instead of what was happening at home. As I said before, we were caught in this cycle. If he'd do something, we go no. It always seemed negative. He'd ask for something, I'd say no, because everything he'd asked for just wasn't appropriate or wasn't accessible, you know, wasn't something we could give. So even though it was really difficult week in some ways, it's been a good week, and I think the positive has been that he is now happier. We now know some of his concerns. One of them, for instance, was we've given him these supported transitions for 2 hours over the last 5 weeks, but at no point did he go into near the class that he's going into, which is a gifted and talented class. And he said, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what this is all about. So I was able, because he was able to finally tell me some of what he was worried about. His teacher's getting on board with that, and hopefully next week we'll get some idea about whether we can take him up for him to sit in a class to see what it's all about. So again, it's the specifics, and again, it's sort of really nutting down to what the child is worried about. And you can do all you can, but in the end, you know, sometimes it's just not going to be enough for them at that time. So even though this wasn't a good thing to happen, I'm glad it happened because it's allowed us to sort of see what else he needs help with, and it's allowed us to get that. So win of the week for me, definitely, and seeing again a positive out of a negative, was that we've been able to sort of pinpoint exactly what's bothering him so we can work on ways to help him further. He's been able to get some one-on-one sort of quality time with his grandparents, which is always great. And to be honest, you know, yes, we've enjoyed a bit of quiet time where we haven't had to say no, watch your language, calm down, how can I help you, you know, all of those words over and over again, which we seem to do a fair bit with him. So that's been so I mean, I suppose from that point of view, it's getting a positive out of a negative there. Another win of the week, I finally started my Christmas shopping. I'm one of the most disorganised people in the universe, and while I used to be organised a few years back, and I used to do the mid-year sales, the mid-year lay-by sales, I'd find that the kids weren't into the same things by the end of the year, so there's no point doing them. So ever since then, I've sort of bought as I've needed to, and when I was working particularly, it was whenever I had days off, weekends, I always had to go at the busiest times. But I've started, and I've got a fair way through, and I know what I've got to get. It's just a matter of sitting down and making it happen. So I'm really quite pleased at the moment that that's sorted out, and I've started, because I am notorious for not being very organised at all. Another win of the week, and I just had the thought, this is the thing about live video, and I've been really good to this point. Usually I'm going, yep, I can remember. And I remember now. Sensitive Santa. I booked in for Sensitive Santa photos at Charlestown Square, which is one of our local shopping centres here in Newcastle. Got one of the last spots. So if you're in the Newcastle area and you're looking at Sensitive Santa for Charlestown Square, get in quick because they don't have a lot of spots left. But I feel good that I'm organised with that as well, because often, again, I would go and be late or have to wait in the line and do all that stuff. So for those of you, I've written about Sensitive Santa before, but it's an initiative where kids with special needs can have a designated time that they can go and meet Santa. Usually he's had some sort of training or some sort of awareness of, common conditions like autism, and other special needs, intellectual disability. And what they do is they have Santa at the centre open early and late. So, and in this instance, they're from 7:30 in the morning. So you can go there early with hardly anyone there, where it's quiet. And they actually were taking down things that we needed. So they said, what does your children prefer and need? So if they have issues with lights, if they have issues with sounds, if they have issues with lots of people, they note that down, and so they can actually give you the best possible sort of interaction for your photo. So it's really good. So if there is a Sensitive Santa near you, and you just look on the website for your local shopping centre and just see, highly recommend them, because it just takes all that stress out of your Santa photo. It really does. You get a 15 to 20 minute slot. You're not feeling rushed. You're not sort of getting through and done. They'll actually sit and talk to you. So the Santas we've seen in past years have been really kind, have had that rapport. And I think the last time we did Sensitive Santa, we did Santa at Hunter Valley Gardens last year, but the year before we did Sensitive Santa, and all three kids actually had a photo by themselves, which was exciting, because normally we've got to sit in with it, which is nice too, because it's really the only family photo we get for the year. But it's nice to know that they are comfortable enough to sit there to have a really good photo, and everyone's really kind and understanding. And any other families who are waiting there too are in the same boat as you. So highly recommend Sensitive Santas if you can find them. So they're my wins for the week. And we're going away this weekend. We're seeing some family, and pretty excited about that. And just to get away from the house for a few nights. It's only 2 nights, but it's going to be just nice to get out of that, the environment for a bit. I'm relieved my dogs are being looked after. So Mum, she's a saviour. She's coming to, she's here now, but she's coming to look after them. And it's just lovely to have that support. And I'm looking forward to spending some time with her in a few weeks when we have our family Christmas too. But yeah, so there's the wins of the week. So even though the week in some ways didn't go to plan, like certainly I wouldn't have come at the start of the week thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to, my son's actually going to go and stay somewhere else for a few days so we can all get a break. You can always find wins out of your week. And in this case, hopefully we're in the right direction with Gilbert. We can help him. As I said, shopping is started. Hooray. And hopefully I'm going to give myself a commitment. I'm going to try and finish it by the end of November, because I don't want to be anywhere near those shopping centres anytime after that. I think it's going to be terrible. And yeah, getting Sensitive Santa sorted out. So share your wins of the week. If you've got any wins of the week, put in the comment below. It'd be great. I think it's a really good way to end the week off positive, and for us all to, be thankful and grateful for what we have. So yeah, so please, if you can, do that. And thank you for those of you who have joined in. It was great. And have a great weekend. I know I will. And I'll join you again on Monday when I do the challenge of the week, and that's 10 o'clock on Monday. So hopefully I can see you there as well. So have a great weekend. See you then. Bye.